Hi everyone. So in this video, we will learn about circular motion. So when we were learning about linear motion, we started with linear variables like linear velocity, linear acceleration, and linear displacement. So similarly, first of all, we should start with angular variables. So to begin with, consider a particle which is moving along a circular path as shown here. The center of the circle is the origin, and the x and y axes are drawn as shown on your screen. So let us say that initially at time t equals to 0, the particle is at a point A as shown here. So the radius vector, that is OA vector, makes a certain angle theta with positive x-axis. So we call this theta as the angular position of the particle. So let us say that after some time interval delta t, the new position of the particle is at the point B as shown here. So let us say that in this time interval, the particle moved a certain angular distance which is equal to delta theta. So the new position of the particle is theta plus delta theta. So we define something as angular velocity, which is equal to delta theta upon delta t. So this formula will give you the average value of angular velocity. If you have to find out the instantaneous value, then we will have to use the differential form. So we can write omega is equal to d theta upon dt. So just like angular velocity, we can also define angular acceleration. We denote it by alpha. So alpha is equal to d omega by dt or d2 theta by dt2. So you can see that there are a lot of similarities between linear variables and the angular variables. On one side, we have linear variables like displacement s, acceleration a, final velocity v, and initial velocity u. On the other side, we have displacement, that is the angular displacement delta theta, angular acceleration alpha, final angular velocity we can denote by omega, and initial angular velocity we can denote by omega naught. So when acceleration is given to be constant in linear motion, we get these three equations of linear motion. That is, v equals to u plus at, s equals to ut plus half at square, and v square minus u square equals to 2s. So we can write similar equations for circular motion by using the angular variables. And the only condition is that alpha needs to be constant. So we will get omega equals to omega naught plus alpha t. Delta theta is equal to omega naught t plus half alpha t square. And omega square minus omega naught square is equal to 2 times alpha times delta theta. Now let us solve a very simple problem so that you get used to these angular variables. So let's say a particle is undergoing circular motion and it has an angular acceleration of 1 radians per second square. Its initial angular velocity is given to be 1 radian per second. So after a time interval of 1 second, you have to find out its angular displacement. So we can use the second equation of motion, that is delta theta equals to omega naught t plus half alpha t square. And now we will put all the known values and we will get delta theta equals to 3 by 2 radians. So that was a very simple problem. Now let us move on to the real question while learning circular motion. So consider the initial example in which a particle moved from a point A to another point B. Let us say that at point A its velocity vector is VA vector as shown here, and at point B its velocity vector is VB vector, which is also shown here. So if it is given that the speed of the particle throughout the motion is constant and it is equal to v, that is, the magnitude of VA vector and the magnitude of VB vector both are equal to small v, can we say that VA vector is equal to VB vector? Absolutely no, because even though they have equal magnitude, their directions are clearly different, which also means that there is some acceleration, and acceleration vector is not equal to 0. So even though the speed is constant, acceleration vector is not equal to 0. Then what is the value of acceleration? What is its magnitude? What is its direction? So this is the real question that you must understand while learning circular motion. So we will deal with this question in detail in the next video. For now, let us move on and learn some more simple stuff. Now focus on the distance covered by this particle when it moved from point A to point B. The distance is highlighted as shown here. So we can say that this distance is nothing but the length of arc AB. So if we represent the distance by delta s, then delta s should be equal to r times delta theta, because the length of an arc is nothing but the product of radius and the angle that it subtends at the center. So now we can divide this equation by delta t on both sides. So we will get delta s by delta t is equal to r times delta theta by delta t. So if we write this equation in differential form, that is, by taking the limits delta t tends to 0, then we will get ds upon dt is equal to r times d theta upon dt. So what is ds upon dt? It is nothing but the rate of change of distance, which is the same as linear speed. So we can write ds upon dt as small v. And what is d theta upon dt? Well, that is nothing but angular velocity. So we will get v equals to r times omega. So this relation, v equals to r times omega, is one of the most important relations in circular motion. You must note that we have taken the limits delta t tends to 0 for deriving this relation. So we can say that at any point of time, this relation is absolutely true. Now moving on, there are two different possibilities. Either the linear speed is constant or the linear speed is variable. So first of all, let us talk about the first case. If the linear speed is constant, then we can say that the angular velocity is also constant, because omega is nothing but v upon r, and in circular motion, r is always constant. If angular velocity is constant, then d omega by dt, that is alpha, is equal to 0. So if alpha is equal to 0, then we call it a case of uniform circular motion. But please note that if alpha is equal to 0, it does not mean that the net or the total acceleration vector is also equal to 0. We have already talked about this, and in detail we will discuss this topic in the next video. For now, let us talk about the second case. So if the linear speed is variable, then we can differentiate this equation, that is v equals to r times omega with respect to time. So we will get dv by dt equals to r times d omega by dt. Now d omega by dt is nothing but angular acceleration, which is equal to alpha, and dv upon dt is the rate of change of linear speed. So we represent it by at, that is tangential acceleration. So tangential acceleration is the rate of change of speed and not the same as total acceleration. So it is just a component of the total acceleration which is directed along the tangent. So we have learned that the tangential component of acceleration is responsible for only changing the magnitude of velocity vector and not its direction. So now let us solve a very simple problem so that you get used to these new variables. So a particle is undergoing circular motion. Its initial linear speed is given to be 1 meter per second. After time t equals to 2 seconds, its final linear speed becomes 10 meters per second. So you have to find out the final angular velocity omega, angular acceleration alpha, and tangential acceleration at. It is given that the radius of the circular path is 2 meters and alpha and at are also given to be constant. So now let's begin with the solution. So we know that the tangential acceleration is dv upon dt, that is the rate of change of linear speed. And we also know that it is given to be constant, which means that its instantaneous value is always equal to its average value. So we can write this acceleration as delta v upon delta t, that is nothing but 10 minus 1 upon 2, which is 9 by 2 meters per second square. And we also know that at is equal to r times alpha. So alpha is nothing but at upon r, that is 9 by 2 by 2, which is 9 by 4 radians per second square. Now let us talk about the final angular velocity, that is omega. So we have learned that at any point of time, omega is equal to v upon r. So after t equals to 2 seconds, we have final linear speed as 10 meters per second. So omega is 10 upon 2, that is 5 radians per second. So with this problem, we will conclude this video. In the next video, we will talk about the acceleration vector in circular motion in details. For now, let us revise some key points and I will take your leave. While undergoing circular motion, the angle made by the radius vector with positive x-axis is known as angular position of the particle. The rate of change of angular position with time is known as angular velocity, that is omega equals to d theta upon dt. Similarly, we have angular acceleration which is equal to d omega by dt or d2 theta upon dt2. The relation between linear speed and angular velocity is v equals to r times omega. This relation is true at any point of time. If the linear speed is constant, then alpha is equal to 0, and we have uniform circular motion. If the linear speed is not constant, then we have non-uniform circular motion. In non-uniform circular motion, the rate of change of speed is known as tangential acceleration. Tangential acceleration, that is at, is equal to r times alpha.